I'm gonna let the boys know that I am ready when they are. Two guys that have obviously played in the Big Brain Bouts countless of times. They're always down. I don't think either of them has ever declined a single invite. So they're clearly very happy with this tournament series. And it's fun to see them duke it out with one another. I am always tempted to say that I think SKillous is the favorite, because I think SKillous overall is the better player. But yeah, Wayne peaks on the Friday night and apparently does very well against SKillous in head-to-head. Because it's incredibly close after all these series that they have played. So hopefully we have a good series. Hopefully we see a little bit of everything. Let's do it.
Let's get it on. Round 1. Fight.
In the top left side of Babylon, we are looking at the main base of our Russian Zergy, who has entertained us time and time again in the Big Brain Bouts. Can he do it one more time? It is Starcom Wayne. Starcom has a decent team, by the way, for WTL qualifiers. They should make it. In the bottom right side of Babylon, we are looking at the main base of the man who's been living in the Netherlands for quite some time now. And wasn't not opposed to the fact of playing a co-main event. Very often he's the main event, and we've given him ultra tough opponents. ShoWTime, Trigger, Clem, Lambo. Like, I've been hard on him. Doesn't have the greatest record on the Friday night, but he always plays good games. It is SKillous. Team Liquid's SKillous, of course. Haven't seen Nikita since Home Story Cup. He told me at Home Story Cup that he wants to play some Padel again, but I haven't heard from him. I told him that he should just ask me, and I'll be there, but that man is slacking. The hero power, we most likely, 99% certain, will, but I'm not exactly sure yet about our team. Because obviously 2 players is not enough. I cannot play, since I'm obviously a member of BASILISK. So, we'll see, but we're going to work on that over the weekend. Like, what's obviously doable for WTL is that we can merge with some other team. For instance, we can maybe talk to Cuckoo's team and see if Cuckoo can represent Red Pack and Roddy at the same time. And we'll just try to form a nice roster and at least sign up. I think that's always nice. And if we somehow make it in Code A or even Code S, we'll figure it out. But yeah, we should be there. I'm excited for it. I always love that period. We've got very standard openings here on Babylon. Wayne is a Zerg that loves a Spire play in this matchup. But obviously if we know that, SKillous will know that too. That doesn't mean that Wayne can be successful with it, but Spires in general is really something that you kind of have to either hide very well, or it has to hit as a surprise. If your opponent just knows that the potential of Mutas is always around the corner, they're going to be a bit more ready for it. And obviously since most of the games in this matchup open up with a couple Oracles, it is hard to hide a Spire. Because even if Oracles don't see the Spire, but they only see a couple Lings and Queens, they kind of know what's up. It's going to be important for Wayne to make sure that he doesn't take too much damage from Adepts in the early game. I think SKillous is one of the very best in the European scene when it comes to those early Adepts. He's not afraid to YOLO them in. This is nice, by the way. Even if it's just 2 links, delaying a Nexus, getting maybe a kill. Can he get the kill? No, I cannot get it. Nice timing on that second Adept popping. First one is just chilling on the other side of the map. SKillous did not start up. Wow, he's dropping the Nexus before even building a single unit out of the Stargate. Ultra early. But obviously without Zergling speed, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. And as a Zerg, you simply don't have a lot of links right now. Because if Wayne already would have 12 or 14 links, that'd just be very bad for his own economy. And then SKillous could cancel the Nexus and he's still doing good. So I guess it makes sense. We are going to have 6 links running out, but 6 links are going to struggle with even just the 2 adapts, so the Oracle is not even really needed here. We will see who gets the best of one another when it comes to the early game dance of ZVP that we're all very familiar with. Oracle actually turned around there for a split second. Just a brief moment, the Oracle actually turned around. I was wondering if it was needed at home. Now gonna eat a decent amount of shots from these first 2 Queens. So far, so good for Wayne. Actually get some real damage on the Oracle. That's not ideal on the side of Nikita, who I believe has been playing some different games. I see him. He's a big Steam user, guys. And as far as I know, we can't play StarCraft on Steam yet. Maybe one day, but I don't think that's quite a thing yet. I see him online a decent amount. Takes a lot of damage on this Oracle. Does drop the Revelation, gets a couple of the creep tumors, but if I was Wayne, I'd be completely okay with all of this. Got the Evo Chamber and +1 melee as the opening here. Of course, SKillous did have a very quick third Nexus. That's kind of like the only thing that he can be very happy about so far. 5 minutes in, we're gonna fire up the lair. Both gases have been taken. Wayne does not have a roach spawn yet. I don't know if he wants to get one. He does. Now I think of Babylon, PVZ. Can't help but to think a little bit of Hero Solar, Game 3, winner advances into the playoffs of Game S8. It was a painful one. I really thought Hero had that game. Or maybe not necessarily had it, but it was looking so good. 12-13 minutes in, a Protoss on +4 bases with a perfect answer for Muras. Maxed out, or close to maxing out against the Zerg with a lot of Lings, Roaches, just a couple Banelings. Was a shame. The first few Stalkers make it to the other side of the map very, very early, and this actually is a bit of an issue, especially with that stasis trap there as well. Wayne does not want to lose his hatchery. Does not activate the stasis trap yet. Does manage to get it in the end. Link count is not high though, guys. It's just 12 links. Queens are really going to have to be brought to the front line. So it's close, but I think it's barely good enough to keep the hatchery alive. And now extra stocks start showing up. Now Blink is ready too. This is really where the Lings are going to be forced to fight. They do activate stasis trap number 2 immediately. +1 is close to finishing up, but it's still not quite ready yet. Wayne has 50 army supply, but so much of it is in production. At least the Queen count is still decent. We're going to get a couple of Ravages in the back too. If this hatchery dies, I don't want to say it's game over, but then obviously it gets very, very bad for the Zerg. Oh, barely good enough for Wayne. Honestly, it's close. There's a lot of extra Stalkers showing up, so maybe I spoke too early. Still think on the edge of creep, Roaches, Ravages, Queens, even if they're low on energy, low on HP. Good enough. So far, though, the trade's heavily in favor of Nikita. 55 units have died on the side of Wayne. 2 have died on the side of SKillous. 2 Stalkers for 55 units. Sure, a lot of it was Zerglings, but still. Feels pretty good. Wayne is going to try to buy some time for himself with a very tiny counter. And there is no shield battery here, so these +1 Lings have a little bit of potential. The funny thing is about Stalker's armies, or Stalker armies, is that they can all of a sudden go down south real quick. Where it's like, oh, I'm trading well, I'm trading well, I'm trading well. Suddenly you get surrounded, you lose 15 Stalkers, and you lose all the momentum you created for yourself. Solar is like the 3rd, 4th best Korean. He got good. Solar is indeed very good. I don't know if I would... Yeah, maybe. Could very well be. Probably better than every Protoss, right? And when it comes to the Terrans, maybe Maru, Cure. See? Maybe he is the 3rd or 4th best. This is a mistake on the side of SKillous, as he loses one of those Oracles. And Oracles are important, not just for stasis traps, not just for Revelations. Just to have a good idea of what's happening. The trades, though, with the Stalkers have all been pretty favorable on the side of SKillous, who still has an 8 worker advantage. So all of this is good. The only saving grace here, the silver lining for Wayne, is that a Stalker army never just really ends a game. It's not like we're looking at a bunch of Colossus, Immortals, Archons, and we just see no way that the army ever dies. Like, Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager can take great fights against Stalkers. It's not necessarily supposed to happen, but with the right engagement, proper surround, a bad blink, all of that is possible. Oracle count still at 3, by the way, despite the fact that one of the Oracles died, as they now activate Pulsar Beam. Throws the bow, gets close to connecting, but it misses. Not a big fight happening in the bottom side of the map, and Queens alone not going to be good enough for Wayne. So he's going to send over a lot of his units to the bottom, but then what's happening at the top? Apparently nothing. The Zealots are making this a very complicated fight for the Lynx, guys. 1-1 Zealots having a very good time dealing with these Zerglings, and Wayne is just in serious trouble. All game long, there is a lot of army supply in production, but it's just not quite there where it needs to be. And SKillous, despite the fact that we know he's an all-around video gamer and he plays a lot of other games, looks damn sharp in game 1. 9 minutes and 20 seconds is all that it takes for Nikita to win game 1, where kind of just felt that he was in control from the very beginning till the very end. Made one mistake with the Oracle. And obviously the initial Oracle wasn't very successful. It took a lot of damage. Didn't get much done. But he just traded incredibly well. Kept his Stark account high. Kept almost all of them alive. And when it's 2 units against 55. Yeah. Stark armies can obviously end games. But I think you know what I meant, right? There are PVZs where you can just say like, okay, it's 100% over. Because if it's like Ling Roach against Sentry, Immortal, Colossus, Archon, you know that the Zerg can never win. With +2 melee Zerglings, I know +2 wasn't quite done yet, but it was close. Lings, Banes, Ravagers, Roaches can take amazing fights against Stalkers. Think back of maybe Dark against Hero on Gresvan. I think Nikita did a very good job in keeping up the pressure and making it very hard for Vanya to ever feel comfortable and to even think about really dealing damage on the other side of the map. I'm sure he was dreaming of some bailing run-bys, denying a 4th base, making it hard for Stalkers to move out. It's just none of that really happened. It's unfortunately another rather one-sided game so far. I don't know what's happening, guys, but I don't like it. Where's my drama? We need drama on the Friday night. Where's Cuckoo Rodzin, you know? Well, I think the night is still young. And we've got Dr. Dario in the main event, so I am not worried. And historically, these two are supposed to go down to the wire, so let's hope we get there.
Round 2, fight!
In the bottom right side of Dragon Skills, we are looking at the main base of our Zergy. Normally a hero on the Friday night, as he pretty much overperformed in every single series we saw out of him. So far, that's not happening, but it's still early in the series. Starcom Wayne, previously known as Radata, previously known as Vanya. And we still like to call him Vanya, and that's okay, because that's literally his name. In the top left side, we are looking at the main base of the man who is not called Vanya. His real name is Nikita. We call him Nikita sometimes, but most of the time we go with Team Liquid's SKillous. I think SKillous is pretty lonely over where he lives. I never really say where he lives, and he's like, is it a secret? I was like, I don't know. Is it a secret for you? He's like, I don't think so. I was like, obviously SKillous and Reynor share an apartment in the Netherlands, which is somewhat close to where I live, but not ultra close. But I think he's been alone for almost 3 months at this point. Well, I have shared a house with Reynor for a while, and it's nice to see Reynor go out and about, let that boy spread his wings, go on holiday after holiday. But I think after all these months, maybe SKillous misses him a little bit. You didn't think TLO still played SC2? TLO actually has been streaming a tiny bit over the last few weeks, and he's also very high ranked on the North American ladder, like I think close to 6,000 MMR. So, and especially I think on NA, which is a ladder where you don't have a lot of people at that MMR, it's very impressive. TLO may be the favorite tonight, but I'm honestly not sure. Did anyone get a beta code? I got a beta code, but it's not a beta, mate. It's an alpha. I think it's very important to keep that in mind when playing the game. Betas and alphas are not the same. Is he playing Zerg or Terran? He's obviously playing Zerg. I know that Dr. Dario started off as a Terran player a very long time ago, and then he played a bit of random for a while, but he's been a Zerg for, I think, the last 10 years at this point. I think he became full-time Zerg in 2012, and 2012 or 2013. He's definitely playing Zerg tonight. Have you played it? Yes, I played it, but not very much. Too much StarCraft to cover, guys. I have a job. My job is to be a StarCraft 2 streamer, commentator, commentate live events. I've just been too busy to play a whole lot of Storm game. Thoughts? I'm not allowed to say. But it's kind of what I expected it to be, I would say. NDAs, mate. Obviously, I think Stormgate will be awesome, guys. The TLDR of all of it is that I think it's going to be awesome. It's just we have to be patient. It is not easy to make a great RTS. I think we saw that over the last few years with every single RTS that was released. Sometimes we had some hope, and it's very hard to make a game remotely as good as StarCraft 2. Even though StarCraft 2 is 13 years old, it's still incredibly good, smooth. It just works. I know we all moan and whine and meme a little bit about balance, but the game is very balanced. It's not easy to make a game as good as StarCraft. I like this start, by the way, for Wayne. Snipes the probe, snipes an adept, and now that Void Ray is on the other side of the map, but it's obviously kind of annoying. Void Rays are slow. So much better start for Wayne. The expand is already going to be a minute later on the side of SKillous. It's not easy, but it's also not rocket science. I have to admit, mate, after trying multiple RTSs over the last 10 years, I'm starting to believe that it is rocket science. And we just need to find some of the finest rocket scientists out there. Because in 13 years, nothing got released that was even remotely close to as good as StarCraft 2. It's not even like, oh, it's personal preference or it's whatever you're into. Like, no. We can all agree that in the last 13 years, nothing got even remotely close. We have a second Stargate and a fleet beacon going down, by the way, inside of the main base of SKillous. So it's cool build. I like to think that Wayne is pretty good against this stuff. Could just be 4 carriers into ground. It's kind of what we saw from Classic, a decent amount, and I think Hero as well. And even MC in the Legends tournament. Open up with a couple carriers, and then we go into a bunch of gateways. Zerral charge into Blink and take it from there. When will we see Roddy in the main event? Yeah, it's not all about me, mate. Couple of adepts gonna shade into the mineral line. Not bad, but also not fantastic. 3 drones at 5 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. It's not that impactful. If it's the first 2 adepts at minute 3 and they kill 3 drones, that's a big deal. But 5.5 minutes in, it's not that big of a deal. Since there is no shield battery here and a Void Ray and an adept are not necessarily the ultimate combo to kill Lynx, I wouldn't have even hated it, guys, if Wayne tried there. Wayne is not gonna try, yeah. What he is gonna apparently try to do is a tiny bailing run by. I like it. Obviously, we always hope for close and competitive series. So far, we've had back-to-back 3-0s. No, I'm starting to really believe our game 1 is going for Wayne. SKillous will get a tiny heads up that slow banelings are coming, but that still means that the Lynx can have a field day. Pylon goes down. This is all very, very, very good for Wayne. I think Wayne knows what's up, even if he didn't necessarily get the perfect scout off. I think he knows. Because these are attacks that wouldn't make any sense if a bunch of stalkers would be ready, right? But against a carrier opening, it makes a lot of sense. Now, we have only 2 spores and 6 queens. If 16 interceptors get deployed, that is a little bit scary. And it seems like the interceptors are going to try to battle the queens. There isn't a whole lot of energy. First queen dies. Oh, Wayne. Second queen does get a transfuse, but it still falls. Queen number 3 is going to go down as well. Thank the Lord that we have a couple of spores. Now the Lynx, they should be able... Come on. They should be able to do well then, no? 4 queens have died, by the way. This is a problem. At least 4 more queens are about to pop, and the spore crawlers are kind of doing their thing, but I don't think we have a single spore here. Wayne needs to do way more damage on the other side of the map to justify losing this many queens. Now I think he will. This is going to go kind of crazy. Let's take a look at the Lynx. Lynx Banes. Carriers are killing a lot, guys, on the other side of the map. They're killing a little too much. How much can these Zerglings and Banelings do? The Banelings do not quite connect, but at least the cannon gets some power. That is big, and now all these probes are pretty exposed. But Wayne is not paying attention, as he's just trying to sneak out a couple of Corruptors. 10 of them should be enough. Full Link plus 1 melee surround on the Nexus is good enough to kill it. Maybe get a couple probes. Carriers get recalled. That obviously means that this carrier should be dead, because a bunch of Corruptors are about to pop. It wasn't ultra pretty, but I think it's good enough for Wayne. More than good enough, even. Well, I mean, we're gonna get a couple of Void Rays. I'm not a big fan of Voids in general, but they actually kind of make sense here. Void Rays to protect the carriers from Corruptors diving on top of them, but this carrier cannot get recalled. Losing a single carrier is such a big deal. With 3 carriers and 2 Voids, but the 2 Voids are leading the charge, and carriers are so, my goodness, they're not deploying their interceptors. We waited such a long time there to deploy the interceptors. If we would have just A-moved, this would have gone so much better, and SKillous may very well just be losing the game here straight up. He right-clicked on a Corruptor that was flying away. And when that happens, your carriers chase the unit and the interceptors don't get out. And carriers, when the interceptors are not deployed, absolutely freaking suck. Because Graviton Catapult is not a part of this game anymore. Believe it or not, guys. I know not everybody is aware of that. But Graviton Catapult is no longer a thing. And I think SKillous is just ultra dead here. GG got scalded. Not the prettiest game, but we've got a series on our hands. And I do want to give kudos to Wayne for the usage of the links and the Banelinks. Finally. You think he just forgot to upgrade it? Oh, that would be a big mistake. There is a much better caster quote though, guys, about the carriers. And that is a long time ago. I was watching a tournament. And there was a Protoss who was attacking the rocks with carriers to get the interceptors out. And to then make them switch over to attack the army. And the caster that was casting that game thought that you would lose money every single time an interceptor shoots. And obviously, it only costs money to build interceptors, not for them to shoot. And he's like, oh no, the Protoss is making a terrible mistake. He's losing so much money by attacking the rocks. He really needs to stop attacking the rocks. He's burning through his bank. I was facepalming pretty hard listening to that cast. I cannot shame the caster. But the caster is no longer casting. It's no longer a caster. But yeah, that went on for minutes. It's talking about how the Protoss was making a mistake by wasting an insane amount of money. Thank you to Lambo for the raid, who says big main event. I know, mate. What do you think is going to happen? Do you believe that the old man still has it? I'm not throwing any casters on the boss, guys. But it is a classic for me. No, it's not base trade. That's the only no I will say. But we're not going to play that game because then you guys just keep guessing until you get it right. And then I have to lie. But it's not base trade. Obviously, Zombie Grub would never make such a boo-boo. Think it's a close match? Yeah, I think so too. Hope you had a fun stream, Lambo. And obviously, welcome everybody from the Lambo channel. Hello, Salamander too. Lamborghini has to say his teammate TLO. I mean, teammate, boss, you know. I guess we can go with teammate. Finally, guys, we're all tied up. I have to admit that it's not necessarily the greatest two first games we've ever seen, but at least we are heading into a game 3 and it's not match point.
Round 3. Fight!
Co-main event of the Big Brain Bouts number 36, which means $100 for the winner of this best of 5 and $25 for the loser. That's all there is to it. All these guys have to do is show up, play a single series, and they get paid. I don't force them to play multiple days, an entire group stage. No, it's a single best of 5 for decent money, which is why I love these nerds who are always happy to play in the BBB. And that includes Lambo, guys. Lambo likes the BBB more than he likes the Monday Night Weekly. I can safely say that. In the bottom left side, we are looking at the main base of our Russian Zergy representing Starcom. It is Wayne, Redita, Vanya. In the top right side of Royal Blood, we are looking at the main base of the man who tried to make double Stargate Fleet Beacon work. Made a little bit of a mistake by right-clicking on a corrupted that was flying away, but I think it was looking pretty dire regardless. Just couldn't deal with the links and banes of his opponent. It's Team Liquid's SKillous. Playing, of course, from the Netherlands. The ugly Brood War Nexus. Well, SKillous has been using that Nexus, I think, since the day that it came out. So he uses, this is the Brood War Probe as well, right? I guess people are not too bothered by the Probe, but yeah, he's the only one who really loves it. I don't know. I gotta say though, out of the 3, the Nexus is by far and away the best. Because the command center is ugly AF, and that hatchery is damn ugly too. So, if we're gonna have to look at any Brood War main bases, I would say let it be the Nexus. It kind of looks like something. How do you feel, by the way, Lambo, as we are obviously in the early stages, guys, of PvZ and nothing crazy is happening here? Unless the probe would kill the drone. How do you feel about Harry Kane? Harry Kane joining Bayern Munich. Does it spark joy? Are you excited? We don't care too much. It's quite the signing. He should be doing well. What is the, does anybody know the opening match of Bayern this weekend? Is it Werder Bremen? Do they open against Werder? Bremen? Okay. I'm definitely excited for it. It's nice to see a big striker from the Premier League actually going to the Bundesliga. Obviously not something that happens very often. I think if there is one man that you cannot blame of that, that's a weird thing to say, Marijuana King Prime. When you've got Neymar and everybody else going to Saudi, Harry Kane goes to Bayern Munich, and you're gonna say like, wow, he did it for the money. I think if he really did it for the money, he would have had some different options than Bayern Munich, mate. It's a very weird thing to say. I am very certain there were multiple options out there that would have been way better for him. I'm gonna say that Harry Kane went to Bayern Munich because they've got a small tendency to win trophies. And not just the Bundesliga, but the Champions League too. I'd probably say that he went to Bayern Munich for that reason, but... what do I know, guys? Besides me, Captain Buggersnot, here I am still doing StarCraft in 2023. Gotta be fashion, amigo. It's gotta be fashion. I'm just kidding. If I get hired by Riot, I'm gone tomorrow. See you guys. Been good? Nah, Mimi. Alright, we've got an early Roachwarn going down. Roachwarn with a single spore. What is this? What am I looking at? I don't know exactly. Wayne maybe a little bit worried. Sees the oracles now. What did Wayne see so far? Too much. Okay. He's gonna cancel the Roachwarn and drop an evolution chamber instead. Maybe he was just worried about something ultra weird. Because he didn't quite get the scout off, and obviously we were chilling with the oracles. This is not where you want to fly in your oracles, mate. Triple queen and a spore crawler. Sweet baby Jesus. That's way too much NTR. SKillous at least activates Pulsar Beam and gets a couple of the creep tumors, so that is nice. Lane counter doesn't find too much success. SKillous does have a serious amount of gateways. This early into a game, already going up to 6 gate, Blink Stalker. We have to think a little bit of what happened over at Babylon. I don't know if this is the exact same, but Wayne is building a lot of drones. I don't know how much longer the man can drone. SKillous moved out way before Blink was done on Babylon. And clearly, Wayne could never really take the fight that he was dreaming of. But overall, I think it's a very solid start. We've lost a single drone against double Oracle. Zergs will take that. Zergs like not losing drones. Stalkers are moving out early though, and at this point the link count is low. We really need to start cranking out a few more links. It does seem like that is going to happen. One of the oracles has split off and goes into the main base, drops a revelation. This is maybe where SKillous just wants to make sure he doesn't have to worry about like surprise mutas, or maybe he's not worried about it, but obviously would still like to not be surprised. We've got one more best of 5 after this one, and that is TLO versus Baby Marine. It's going to be a TVZ main event once more. Been giving you guys a decent amount of TVZ main events over the last 2 months. Since it's the people's matchup. You guys don't love the aliens like I love the aliens. Wayne, by the way, is now building a lot of Hydras and hasn't built any drone for quite some time. I don't know if he was worried or if he wanted to attack. Now we're going back into droning, so I'm gonna say worried. Does not have a single Zergling on the top side of the map. SKillous doing a pretty good job, I think, with his Oracle in the main base. Just flying it back and forth, dropping a couple revelations. Wants to see if there are some free drones to be found over here, but that's not the case. Storm. Poor Lethal. Wayne knows Lethal's watching. Imagine if SKillous has no wall up, by the way. Alright, that revelation is obviously right on the money. As a couple of the Hydras get revealed. Hydras move forward and they get a kill on one of the Oracles. Pretty big. Tiny mistake there on the side of SKillous. Wayne, is he ever going to scout this base, guys, on the top side of the map? We've got 92 Zerglings, and not a single one of these 92 Zerglings decided to take a little look at that 12 o'clock base to see if SKillous is going up to 4 bases or not. That is actually impressive. Obviously, this many links against Stalkers is going to be very good. Against Storm, it's going to be a little bit less good. And Storm is ready in less than 5 seconds. First stage trap goes down. Come on, Wayne. Just get a cancel on the 4th, mate. I don't get it. This is fascinating to me. This is like the easiest skill ever. Maybe he just wants more. Perhaps the man just says, nope, I'm gonna all in. Is he gonna try to save all of these links that got stuck? He's now gonna find that Nexus, so at least he knows about that. Those links are stuck and nothing is saving them. It's a lot of Zerglings to lose. Couple Zealots, soon with charge, N+2 will run to the bottom side of the map, and that base is pretty exposed. The oracles have confirmed that it's exposed. Seems that Wayne completely forgot bailing speed. Because I guess if we really want to all in, yeah, we kind of need bailing speed. So now we're stuck on 22 slow bailings. Wayne does forget a lot of big upgrades. You think back of the game that he had against Spirit. But I think the man lost 1200 Zerglings before he realized that he did not have adrenal glands. He's gonna get another cancel on this Nexus. He's now turning around with slow bailing. SKillous is probably wondering, why are these things still slow? Well, they just are. Hydras can do alright. I don't know about fighting off creep though, especially not. Oh, can we run in though? Whew. That's a lot of links that Wayne is donating. Wayne just wants to fight in the middle of all these cannons and all this storm. There's no way that's going to end well for the Zerg. These High Templars are way too well protected. I don't know what Wayne can really do. I think what he can only hope for is that either SKillous goes super far away from batteries, or SKillous takes a bad fight trying to get a 4th base. But running into this, that seems like a mistake. It's not going to end well with Hydro Link Bay. Unless we're on like 95 drones and we have just absolute ludicrous amounts of money and we can send wave after wave, then it's doable. But at least bailing speed is ready now, but I still don't really want to see him fight there. I think Wayne, his best chance, and it's not looking very good right now, I'm going to be dead honest. I think his best chance is to take a fight like around here. And hope that SKillous makes a positioning mistake with the High Templars. The man is definitely not going to have lurkers anytime soon. I believe we have a War Prism that's about to show up in the main base as well. We have Bailings trying to make it into the middle line. That's not happening. Couple Zealots get dropped. We're firing up the Hive, but Wayne is just so broke. It's a game where I feel like not a whole lot has happened yet, but Wayne is in all sorts of trouble. Maybe it's the bailing speed that he forgot, but I think even with quicker bailing speed, now this is not the best fight for Oracles in such a big cave, as the High Templars were trailing behind, but now Storm is here for days. SKillous really doesn't need to be on creep, but SKillous says, I don't really give a damn. I'm gonna be on creep anyway. That does mean that these High Templars could potentially be in a lot of trouble. Okay, I don't think SKillous really needs to be here, but SKillous is probably just so confident he's going to win this game that he's here anyway. A couple of the High Templars do get picked off by Hydras and Lynx, but 15 drones have already died. That War Prism is still alive. 2 High Templars still remain, and 1 low HP Archon is doing its thing. I don't know where this Immortal came from, but it's here. Final 2 High Templars are going to morph into an Archon, and Wayne is just kind of dead, unless a bunch of Lynx is suddenly going to show up. But he is just dead anyway. Another Archon falls, but the War Prism still doing its thing in the main base. The Zealots with +2 are having a good time against Zerglings, and 11 minutes and 26 seconds in, SKillous takes the 2-1 lead in, yeah, once more, not the most epic back and forth game. I think the only thing that could happen tonight, guys, is that the main event is going to be an absolute banger. That's going to be a best of 5 for the ages. Baby Marine against TLL. From start to finish. Fireworks. Drama. Epic plays. Creativity. Because the first 3 matches, I mean, we've had good performances. Obviously, Jason was very impressive. SKillous is doing his thing here so far. And in that previous series, it was fun to see Thermal just play good StarCraft. But it has not been ultra close or competitive or hard to call. A lot of these games just kind of go down one course and they stay on that course and then they end. A little too early for my liking, so hopefully things turn around here on Neo Humanity. Even if SKillous wins 3-1, we can all live with that. I just wanted to see a bit more epic, a little bit more back and forth. It's all a little 9, 10, 11, 12 minute-ish. Somewhat one-sided. Going Hydra into losing is the Mio Micah special. Well, I don't know. I think there was a whole lot more wrong with that previous game than just going Hydras, but it doesn't matter. Let's see what we can do in Game 4, Neo Humanity.
Round 4. Fight!
The man who has honestly never disappointed on the Friday night so far is playing his first somewhat disappointing best of 5, but it's not done yet. And let's not count him out. Hopefully he can make an epic comeback for his sake. It is Starcom Wayne. Has a very good track record on the Friday night and has given us a lot of amazing strategies and an amazing plays. In the bottom right side, we're looking at the main base of the man who actually, I think, has combined worst record of people that have played many times on the Friday night, but we gave him incredibly tough opponents, so it kind of is what it is. It's Team Liquid's SKillous. I believe won one time, and that was a PvP against Trigger, but that was a really fun series. It was freaking epic. It was a perfect showcase of why PvP does not need to be laughed at, doesn't need to be disregarded as main event, like, oh, it can be awesome. I think it was one of the best of 5s we've had. It really just came down to the final fight in a crazy 20-minute game on Royal Blood. It was awesome from the beginning till the end. Let's go, Ian, giving us 10 subbies. We're still on track, guys. We are still on track of making this the best streaming day of the month. And there's really not a whole lot needed for that. I appreciate it, matey. So Wayne, guys, has opened up with a 14 pool, is making a bunch of links, rallying them to the other side of the map, while taking a hatchery near the rich Vespian geyser in the center of the map. Where is this gonna go, Roddy? Don't really know, guys. I don't really know. Is it a cheese? Well, it's weird, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like ultra committed, right? SKillous is respecting this a lot by going double Zealot before expanding, which I think he will be quite fine. As long as SKillous doesn't make a mistake here, he will always be able to just keep this base alive. And now what's going to be somewhat scary on the side of Wayne is that he's going to have to deal with Adepts while he does not have Zergling speed. And on top of that, he's got a very exposed base in the center of the map. It's not really a position that a lot of Zerg players like to be in. SKillous is actually going to build the Stargate before Adept number 2. I think this is one of these moments where I would have preferred Adept number 2 before Stargate, because the Adepts have unlimited potential when there is a base in the center of the map and there is a base in the main, obviously. Well, hopefully. Okay, that first Adept is actually in a tiny bit of danger of getting surrounded. Can we get a surround? Oh, the Warcraft 3 surround! Oh, Wayne making Happy proud. That's obviously not supposed to happen, but we'll take it. That is great for the man who's trailing 1-2. That's a beautiful surround. Speaking of Warcraft 3, apparently MaxPax is playing a lot of Warcraft. I know some of you guys told me that MaxPax and Hearthstone played a little bit of Warcraft 3 against each other. And apparently he's still playing. And again, it's getting the Warcraft 3 people very excited. Damn it, I can't speak tonight. But yeah, they are excited. I got messaged by the Back to Warcraft boys. They're like, hey, can you ask MaxPax if this leather account belongs to him? I was like, well, I know he did a show match with Hearthstone, so there is a good chance, but I'll ask. Guys, SKillous is reading this as like an Omega crazy all-in. But it's not really happening. He had even triple shield battery there for a split second. Even double battery is minor overkill against what is actually happening. I think the Void Ray, it's obviously a good unit if you get all in. The problem with the Void Ray is that it's just kind of slow and clunky and doesn't have any potential on the other side of the map. I'm starting to like this for Wayne. Even though I don't think this was necessarily the greatest strategy, or it's something that's very reliable. Obviously, StarCraft 2 is a lot about keeping your opponent guessing and making it very hard for your opponent to figure out what is happening. And, well, he definitely succeeded in that. And SKillous has made a couple of wrong calls so far by dealing with this weird opening. Good save so far on the drones. Oracle's going to show up as well, though. Why don't we have a single spore? Yeah, I know that's low HP for drones. 8. 8 is a lot, guys. With a single spore crawler, that honestly could have been 1 or 0. But by delaying the spore as much as we did, we end up losing 8 drones on the side of Wayne. Does still have quick 3 bases, does still have a rich recipe in geysers, so it's playable, it's acceptable, but it's not ideal. We have 2 queens in the main, that should be more than enough to prevent this Void Ray from finding any more success. Is Wayne just going to send it with like +1 Ling Bane? We don't have a Baneling nest though, but he's mining a lot of gas. Like we're literally sitting on 450 gas before we drop our Baneling nest. I don't really understand that. What's my favorite Dutch cheese? Jong belegen from the Jumbo. It's just the Jumbo cheese. Super good. 10 out of 10. Next time I'm in a Jumbo, I'll buy some and I'll take a picture of it. I'll post it in the Discord. Exclamation mark Discord, guys. For all of your amazing cheesesteaks. SKillous could actually work on these rocks, by the way. So I guess Wayne is going for a bit of a dark special, right? Whereas we're rallying queens to the other side of the map and it's Ling Bane Queen. Against Disruptors, I'd say very good. Against the Colossus, it would have been a whole lot less good. Or against many other builds, but I have to admit, every single time I see Dark do this, and it doesn't... in the beginning, I'm like, I don't really see how this works. And then it always works. Maybe the same goes for Wayne here. Historically, it's been incredibly close between these two. This Nobodo is a big one. Actually, no, it's not that big. I thought it was going to soften up 3 or 4 queens. It's only 2 queens that get hit. The single queen that goes down. Now this Disruptor gets F2'd into the middle of nowhere. Sentries alone suck. Oracles without energy suck. A Void Ray sucks. At least we have 2 shield batteries over here. Is there a battery overcharge? Yes, there is. But Lings are going to ignore those Stalkers. Wayne just is kind of running out of units now. I think there were so many ways where Wayne could have done great here, but somehow we found the only way where it's not that great. The shield battery overcharge is a pretty big impact. There's still a couple of Lings doing their thing. But it's not quite enough damage, guys. It really is not enough damage. Good micro on the side of Skillous with the Void Ray keeping that alive. Gonna lose one more Stalker. I really think that if you send everything at the 3rd, isn't it like a relatively easy kill? Oh well. Wayne is now down 16 workers. Because in all that craziness, only 4 probes have died in that game. I don't know how many probes died in that attack. 3 maybe? Gonna try one more time, but it really feels that if everything would have just gone over here, it would have been so much easier. We have a couple of Banelings though, they're getting very good connections with the Adepts. Just when you think it's over, do we have another overcharge? Coco, is there a second overcharge available? I think there is. But I also think that we're just out of Nexus energy, or we just want to use it elsewhere. This went a lot better for Wayne than I thought it would go. Probably than he thought it would go as well. But there is Coco's second overcharge, and that obviously means that the Zerg is going to have to disengage. But with 4 hatcheries and all this creep, maybe we can just crank out like 15 drones and we're still in this game? How many queens do we have? 4. +1 link though. Go back, Wayne. If you just make a nice run of drones now, you saturate this base, I think it's very playable. Because I always talk about food, Cuckoo. I love food. I love eating. There's nothing wrong with it. I might even have some burgers tonight. I know that you're interested. There are some burgers on the menu tonight. So Wayne gets pushback, and obviously with the information that we have, guys, we know that if SKillous just absolutely sends it with a bunch of Zealots, +1, maybe 2 Archons, this game is over. But it's a harder call for SKillous to make than it is for us. It does seem that SKillous is thinking about being pretty aggressive. As he has that War Prism on the left side. Maybe the Lynx can buy some time. This lane is going to give the heads up that this is happening. These Stalkers, they don't have Blink. Obviously, the Stalkers are not that useful. With a full wraparound, +1 melee, I want to say this is good enough for Wayne to at least get a cancel. And a cancel it is. Now it's ultra important, guys, for our Zerg that we're not taking a lot of damage from that War Prism. SKillous has warped in a couple of units on the left side, so he's going to hit the main and that 4th base at the same time. It's cool play. The Zealot don't quite have charge yet, but we're very close to having charge. +1 Lynx though against 0 Zealots. This is actually a good fight for the Lynx. It still looks bad for Wayne because the only thing that he can make is Lynx and Banes. And Queens. And the Colossi are a big problem. The good news is that the Protoss is not getting extended thermal lens. The bad news is that the Protoss is also getting Archons. And Colossi and Archons are pretty good with or without extended thermal lens against Link Bane. A 16 worker lead on the side of the Protoss is also pretty good. It feels that Wayne is just kind of dead. But he is going to try to make some magic happen. And maybe there is a world where SKillous gives him too much time. I know I'm on Hopium, Copium right now, a little bit of all of it, but I just hope that we're getting an epic game between these two. As the Queens at least will be able to gun down the Warp Prison, that's good. And SKillous has still not picked up on the fact that he does not have extended thermal there. The longer it goes, as that Roach one is about to finish up, hopefully he fires up Roach Speed immediately. We can get a couple of Roaches and Ravages. If Wayne is able to max out one time against the Protoss without extended thermal lens, is there a tiny chance, chat? Or am I just on too much copium? It looks very, very dire, but maybe? Tiniest of tiny chance. We're gonna need a bit of a throw on the side of SKillous. I'm the first to admit that. Yeah, but we still have the rich... Oh no, we don't have the rich Vespine, guys. It's okay. Less drones means bigger max out, means more potential to absolutely destroy the fight. Because a trade is never going to be good anyway for Wayne. Wayne doesn't need a trade. Wayne needs a fight so good that he completely destroys everything, runs to the other side of the map and wins the game. Still no thermal lens. We're going to get Storm as well. Archon count is going up. Roach speed is close to finishing up. If Wayne just gets 10 more Roaches, I kind of believe in a weird way. I kind of believe. It would be an undeserved victory. SKillous should win this game. But what has ever been deserved in StarCraft 2, guys? If things would be deserved, Roddy would be a champion by now. And I'm not. Tiny chance. It looks better for Wayne now than it did a long time ago. It really did think that this game was 100% over. Cannon's not quite done yet. Storm not quite done yet. That maybe would have been a decent moment to walk into it. But obviously Lynx would get absolutely shredded by Colossus and Archons. Fighting near a shield battery is pretty much pointless. Fighting near cannons is pretty much pointless. War Prism number 2 has shown up in the back of the natural. Could kill a Spire there immediately. That would be an expensive loss. That's a lot of Zealous guys getting warped into the back of the natural. Oh. Still no thermal lens. That's about the only thing that Wayne has going for himself. And the fact that he's kind of maxed out, as a lot of Banings do crash into the front line, but the Archon count is so damn high. These are Archons with +2 as well. Decent concave at least on Roaches and Ravages. Colossus kind of sucking because they don't have the range. Couple of Tide Templars dying. A Colossus died. Seems the SKillous looked at his War Prism there for a split second. Literally, I think, almost as good as a fight as Wayne could have hoped for. And not quite good enough. Doesn't really do a whole lot for him. Did he kill that Prism yet? No. Going to be forced to evacuate the main base. SKillous is going to make another Colossus without extended thermal lens, but he does get a cancel on the Spire, so he's happy with that. Going to get a couple of Blink Stalkers too. Wayne still has 71 drones. Guess that is like barely enough to hope for a max out. Guys, couple Vipers. We abduct a few of the Colossus. Roach Ravager against Archon. We'll take it. On the side of the man who's down. Wayne is pretty dead. There's no other way to put it. But I am still hoping. You give the man 3 Vipers with energy, a couple of abducts, and then you just fight Mass Archon. I'm telling you, there is a chance. It's a tiny chance. Hello, Jason, by the way. Thank you so much, mate, for the raid. And honestly, you played very well, amigo. Spacey Macy looked damn good against Foxer, but you looked even better against him. So, very well done. Now I understand why the other Zergs were afraid of you. What's our Viper count? 1? 1 is not good enough. I think that SKillous is maybe feeling sorry for me. He's like, I know Roddy wants long series and he wants epic games, and so far it hasn't really been it. With Adreno Glance and +3 melee, do we believe? There is Storm, yeah, but you know, Storm is not that good against Roaches. Storm is good against Lynx and Banes. Not that great against Roach Rabbit. It's not bad, but like this is not an invincible army. It's a good army, but it's not invincible. Couple Banelings blow up the High Templars, and we can dream. Will SKillous ever realize that he does not have extended thermal lens? Ooh, nope, they cannot. Can these guys do something? Nope. Crazy that he doesn't see. War Prism still doing its thing in the back of the main. I think the Spire got cancelled again. Yes, this was a cancel, was not a kill. Hey! Nikita's like, that's a pretty good upgrade if I've got 4 Colossus. Lost one still has 4. Now the good news for Wayne is that SKillous will definitely wait until extended thermal lens is done. The bad news is then it will be done. That's so many Archons, by the way. We're going up to 13 Archons. An entire army of big blue balls. Wayne drops a Blinding Cloud, and you know what? I don't even hate it, but that Storm, oh my goodness, that is a Storm for the ages. Connecting with a bunch of Roaches, Ravages, Lings, and Banes at the same time, and well, it wasn't much of a fight, was it, guys? The Blinding Cloud was cute, but a single Viper is simply not good enough. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite the close epic series that we hoped for between these two. For the first time, I kind of feel that the Friday night does not belong to Wayne. We know that Nikita is good, and Nikita showed us that. Well, at this point, he's simply the better player. No matter what the records say or the history says between these two. SKillous honestly looked pretty convincing, dominating in this best of 5. And at this point, he's just kind of having a good time. Maxed out on 93 probes, getting a lot of cannons and batteries. Having a good old Protoss army of a bunch of Archons, Colossus Storm. Really felt that Wayne with his +1 melee Bane Queen attack could have at the bare minimum killed this Nexus. But he didn't want that. He wanted to straight up win the game. And ooh, nice corrosive balls there, guys. It's obviously a day late and $1 short, but those were good. And Wayne says that's going to be my final act on the Friday night. It's like, I lost, but, you know, I still did that, so that's kind of cool. I'm going to show you guys the final corrosive balls one more time. Congratulations to SKillous for winning 100 buckies and the co-main event of the evening and taking another victory over his friend, but also rival Vanya. Look at these corrosive balls, guys. Boop. 3 High Templars with a lot of energy. And Wayne says, that's it, I'm out of there. That's about as good as I can ever do in this game. I'm happy with that. Hands off the keyboard. GG's. Thanks again, Jason. Thanks for the prime and the raid. One last, yeah. We're going down swinging. Ending on a high note, something like that. I mean, it was an alright series. Like, I'm not trying to be overly critical or grumpy. It was an alright series, but no, normally Wayne really peaks on the Friday night, and he's given us fireworks time and time again. Epic games. He overperformed against players that we didn't think he could beat. Tonight, it was just a little alright. Wasn't quite the series I hoped for. But kudos to SKillous. He played very well. He looked solid. Played it safe, and yeah, we can only compliment Nikita for his performance. 81% of you guys believed that SKillous was going to win, no matter how close it was historically between these two. And you guys were right. But now we got perhaps the most epic, and definitely I think the hardest one to call of the night. So SKillous wins this one. Our final prediction, guys. BBB main event, number 36. For the first time ever, it is Shopify. That's not how you write Shopify. Shopify TLO versus Team Roddy Baby Marine. That's too long. So we'll just make it Baby Marine. That's good. Dr. Dario. We'll just do it like this. A little bit official, you know. Obviously, Dario will play Zerg. Jersey. Hey, like Jersey. That's funny. I don't know why. That's when you know I'm old. All right, I'll give you guys 50 minutes to get your votes in. The main event is for 200 buckies. The winner of the main event gets $150. The loser still gets $50. I gave Goblin an opportunity a long time ago to play in the main event. He defeated... No, he lost to Drogo, I think. Yeah. Lost to Petite Drogo in the main event. But at least Goblin got one main event. Thank you to Basilisk for giving us 10 more subbies. We're still in the running, guys. You guys can still get me there. We also had Cuckoo play in the main event one time during the season of the DreamHack Masters Europe Regionals. So we didn't invite the top tier European pros. We gave some community members a chance. And Cuckoo played in the main event. Today, for the first time ever, the younger brother of Reynor, our very own Team Ruddy's Baby Marine, is playing in the main event too. And he's got the honor to duke it out with Dr. Dario. I think this is going to be a very fun series. It's old school versus new school. It's creativity versus speed. I think we're going to have a good time watching this one. I'm going to take a couple minutes. I'm going to go ahead and grab myself one more whiskey. Thank you to Nikita for the 10 months with Prime. I've known Nikita for 6 years. That's 72, 10 months. Not the best track record there, Nikita, but thank you for the Prime, mate. I appreciate it. And good job tonight against Wayne. I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Grab yourself a snack, grab yourself some drinks, and hopefully we have some amazing TVZ. In the past, when the first few matches were a bit one-sided, the main event is often one for the history books. Hopefully, history repeats itself. I'll see you guys in give or take 4 or 5 minutes for the main event of the evening, TLO versus Baby Marine.